might always not think that, but it is fine to feel like that. So, shall I do this? Sorry, we're just, looking to be reinvigorated. So, keep telling me what you hope to get out of today, because we are all humans after all. We have emotions, and whilst we spend our time and energy motivating our teams, and we might be motivating other people, sometimes it can be hard to keep ourselves motivated as well. And that's what today is all about. So we're going to be exploring some tools and techniques to get ourselves back on track so that we're not permanently feeling like this. How's everyone else feeling? Yeah, keep them coming in the chat box. So before we go on, I just want to tell you a bit about me in case we haven't met before. So I'm a coach and trainer, and I work with managers and leaders, which I've done for nearly 20 years now. No, it doesn't feel like it. I started my journey in retail where I did 12 years as a training manager, and then I started my own training consultancy, which has given me the pleasure of working in lots of different businesses and with a lot of leaders at all levels of their careers. So from supervisors and team leaders right the way up to board of directors and business owners, and it's something that I absolutely love to do. In fact, over the years, I've probably worked with hundreds of managers, helping them feel more confident and capable to manage their people effectively. And as I say, it's something I do love because I'm really passionate about managers and leaders being the key players in any business, because they have the power to really affect and influence people. They motivate, inspire, and develop, and I love it when get to work with these people to help them get the very best out of their teams and themselves. So I do this by running a management program, which is aimed at team leaders and supervisors and managers. I also run a one-to-one leadership development coaching program, which is aimed at senior managers and directors, and that can be either face-to-face or on the phone or online. And as well as these programs, I run webinars like this one, and I have a weekly blog that you might be part of, and I have just launched a book which is on Amazon now called The Boss Hat. And if you stick around till the end, I'll give you some information on how you can work with me for a super low price and get a free book as well. Anyway, enough of that. Before we get into the nitty-gritty, if this is your first time with me, have we got any first-timers on here, just out of interest? I just want to reassure you that my style is to support you without making you feel overwhelmed. So as we go along, rather than try and think that you want to implement everything straight away, instead just look for that one gem that you can put into practice. And then once you've done that, you can move on to the next and then the next. So there's really no pressure at all. So welcome, Marianne, your first timer. Anyone else is first one today? You've all been attending the webinars for quite some time. Oh, yay, we've got another one as well. Tanya, Claire, welcome. It's great to have you here. As well as this, I also like to keep these webinars really interactive. So please feel free to have some fun. Becky, you're a second timer. Fantastic. I'm glad you came back. Feel free to have fun, answer questions. I'm going to be posting questions, as Karen said. None of that is going to be in the recording. I'll be answering questions as I go along. If you want to keep them to the end, that's fine. But please do ask them as we go along. Help each other out as well. So, so if you see a question, feel free to chip in and help. You don't always have to learn from me, which is great. And let's really utilise this time together. Okay? Victoria, you've done 10 of these. Fantastic. Any with me? So, another first. Francesca, you're a first time. I don't know whether I mentioned you before, but welcome. I'm really pleased. So, say yes in the chat box if any of this sounds remotely like how you're feeling at the minute. So you might not be as enthusiastic as you once were, and you're finding yourself feeling a bit fed up. You might be fed up about going to work. You might not be feeling it as you go through the day. You're just not as excited about any of it at the minute. You might be feeling a bit bored. You might have even fallen into robot mode where you're simply getting up and going to work and doing your job and then going home again without any real enthusiasm. Any of that sound remotely like where you're at the minute? Yes, we've got some yeses. Yes. You might have found yourself blaming other things like external factors for how you're feeling. So even if you don't normally do it, you might have found yourself feeling like your face doesn't fit, like you're not cared about, so why should you bother, that you don't feel as though you're being managed properly, that there's just always stuff going on, like in terms of change, that no one listens to your ideas, that you're not empowered. even if normally you don't feel, you don't feel like you're blaming anybody, but for some reason you feel it. Yeah, we've got some yeses. Yeah, okay. So, if this is how you're feeling, I'm really glad that you're here, because just by being here, you're saying that you're ready for this to change and that you want to get off the bench and back into the game. And the first rule that we are going to follow, catch up with my slides, good at multitasking. The first rule here is we can only change things within our sphere of influence. So what I mean by that is, yes, there might be lots of reasons why you're feeling this way, but more often than not, we can't do an awful lot about any of them. So we have to just focus on how we're feeling and getting ourselves back on track. The very first task, have you all got a pen and paper in front of you? I normally mention that at the beginning, and I didn't today. So the very first task that we're going to do is to figure out what's causing you to feel this way. Now, this could be many, many things. It could be that you're just feeling a bit bored and stale. You might be a bit fed up with your boss or your company. You just might be just feeling that way out. There might be loads of change going on. You might be a bit fed up with your team. You might be in Groundhog Day, so you feel like you're doing the same thing over and over again. You might feel like a hamster on a wheel, or that you're getting passed over for opportunities or promotions, or feel a bit invisible, or it might be something completely different. So whatever that is for you, I want you to scribble it down on a piece of paper, anything in front of you. And if you feel like sharing it in the chat box, please do. So I'll just give you a second to do that. We've got, thanks for sharing, by the way. If you do put it in the chat box, you've got a new particularly challenging team member who started off really well but saps the life out of me. Yeah, and you put lol. I hear you. Yeah, and that's allowed. We're allowed to just admit it. So get it all down. Have you all got something scribbled in front of you? So once you've done that, and I'll keep talking, we're going to do, where you're left to work alone a lot of the time, but you've got a new person trained up as well. Yeah. Okay, thanks for putting that in. Okay, so I'm trusting that you've got something in front of you. And once you've done that, we're going to let it go once and for all. And you might find it easier if you tear this piece of paper that you've written it up into lots of pieces and throw it away. So you're going to write down what's the reason you're feeling like this, and then I want you to tear it up. And if you put it on the chat, that's fine, but tear it up and then throw it away. Now, I know that we're not robots, and that just by scribbling it down on a piece of paper and tearing it up might be a lot easier said than done. And it's not a quick fix. But as we've already decided, we can only deal with things in our sphere of influence. And feeling like this isn't helping ourselves or our team, and it's not making any difference to the situation. So it's time to let it go. So step one is to draw a line in the sand so we can start moving on and feel different. To do this, you've just got to decide that it's now time to change your mindset. I know there's stuff going on and there's an awful lot of reasons why you're feeling this way, but now's the time to just start changing your mindset. You don't need to wait for a new week or even a new year. You just have to decide that from this minute on, you're going to put it behind you and find your center again and really focus on that to get your mojo back. Now, although you certainly don't need to, you might find it easy to do this at the start of a new day. So when you wake up tomorrow, you can make every effort to feel like your old self again. But before we do that, I want us to do a bit of background work. So now that we've drawn the line in the sand, the next step is to remind yourself of what your why is. Now, we all have a reason. Thank you. I'm rubbish at multitasking. So we all have a reason why we do what we do. The reason we get up in the morning and go to work, and the reason why we actually chose the job and career that we did, and the reason that actually keeps us moving forward every day. But the problem is that as time passes, that reason can sometimes become a bit blurry, and we forget what brought us there in the first place and what actually motivated us to choose that path. We might forget the reason why we're there at all. And then when that feeling of being left behind, or, you feel like you're just out of sync, we might find ourselves feeling a bit down, or that we might have got a bit lost along the way. So in that case, it's so important that you remember your why, so your reason for going to work or doing the particular job that you're doing in the first place. Now, your first answer might be money, but I want you to scribble it down whilst I'm talking and just have a think about what your why is, please. Because quite a lot of times when I ask this question, people say, oh, it's money, I go to work for my salary. But what does money actually allow you to do? So have a think about what your why is and scribble that down in the chat box to share it with us. I'll just look up. I've missed a few chats. Love that one, Diane. To make a difference. Fantastic. Love it, Becky. Oh, this is great. I find these fantastic. These are great whys. So, yeah, as you've already mentioned, the money might give you the ability to look after your children, to travel, to inspire positive change. Fantastic. To act as a coach to line managers, they can talk through problems and find solutions themselves. These are brilliant. So once you've found your why, and it could be anything. I mean, the list is absolutely endless. It could be anything for anybody. And you might want to find some time to just do this exercise a lot slower and really reflect on it rather than just as quickly as we're doing it now. But try and keep it in a safe place, somewhere you might want to put it on your desk or somewhere that you can see it, because this is going to really act as your motivation. This is your anchor point that you'll be using when you're having a bad day, and it'll really spur you on and keep you going. And just the few that I'm reading in the chat box, they are fantastic reasons and whys. So, yeah, put them somewhere that you can actually see them, that you can focus on them. So once you've reminded yourself of your why, let's move on to step 3, which is having a think about what success looks like for us. And once you've done that, also have a think about how you want to feel. So instead of how you're feeling at the minute, which is you might feel a bit out of sorts or a bit fed up, how do you actually want to feel, and what does success look like for you? So again, feel free to scribble this in the chat box and share it. Often we get bogged down with how we're feeling at the moment, and it's very easy to just think, I'm just not feeling it, I'm feeling a bit fed up, I'm feeling a bit frustrated or irritated, but quite often we don't focus on how we actually want to feel. We've got as part of a happy team. Love that. Who doesn't want to be part of a happy team? That's fab. To feel approachable and supportive, to see how your role adds value and get feedback, that you want to be doing a good job. You want to be keen again. Brilliant. These are great focus points. So once you've started having a think about, and again, you can do this at a later date as well. You don't have to be doing this quickly now. If you want to just scribble down the exercise and do them later, that's perfectly fine. So have a think about, how does a person who feels this way behave? So are they more positive in terms of their body language and the words that they use? Are they bustlier? Is that a word? It is now. Yeah, they're bustlier. Are they more focused? Are they more efficient? So have a think about how the person that feels that way actually behaves. So keep them coming. Yeah, put them in your chat box. Got a happy workforce there. Yeah, so your person would contribute more and not sit back and let everyone else drive things forward. Brilliant, thank you. And this stage is really, really important because even though you might not realise it, sometimes whilst you're feeling this way, other people, and by this way I mean the way that you're feeling today in terms of a bit where you've just not got your mojo, other people around you will also have been picking up on that even if you don't realise it, or you might even be trying to hide it, because our bodies are actually quite good at giving away clues to how we're feeling inside. So it's a great way to start thinking about how you actually want to behave. So we have to start doing some work on this, and a good step here is to become really self-aware. So have a think about what language you're using at the minute. Are you a little bit more negative than you might have been in the past? Even though you might not realise it or want to be, do you find yourself moaning a bit more? And this might be just to yourself, in the car on the way home. It might be to your other half when you get home, or it doesn't have to be to your colleagues. Do you find yourself sighing? Do you not smile as much as you used to, or work a bit slower, or not interact with people as much, or are you feeling a bit quieter? Again, this is for you to see in yourself, and once you've identified what you've been doing, the next step is to work to start breaking that habit. So let's pretend that you've started a new day and you've decided to go into work and feel different. So feel the way that we've already described. What does that actually look like? Now, unfortunately, I can't wave a magic wand and change things like your job, your team, your boss, or any of the other things that you mentioned earlier on in the session. So we have to accept that it'll probably be exactly how you left them yesterday. So what you can do is change the way that you feel about them. So tip number 1 is be enthusiastic, even if you're not really feeling it. And this is quite a tricky one, isn't it? But it is a great place to start. So tip number 1 is be enthusiastic, even if you're not quite feeling it. And a really good trick that I found has helped me is to walk into work and pretend that it's your building. So you might currently walk into work and feel as though you're fed up and you don't want to go, and there's a million other places that you'd much rather be. And that'll reflect in your body language and just, the way that you're holding yourself. So for that day, try walking into work and pretending it's your building and it's your company and it's your team and that you own it and that you've built it from scratch and it's your labour of love and it's something that you're really proud of. And walk into work with your head held high and your shoulders back because, after all, it's your place. And I know what you're probably thinking, crikey, this sounds really silly, but no one needs to know. Nobody knows what goes on inside your mind. They can't see what goes on inside your head. And it'll really bring a smile to your face. And I've done this before, and it has made me chuckle as I've walked in, but it also has made me hold myself differently. So try this and let me know how you get on, actually. I'd be really interested to see whether it has the same effect for you. And carry that through until you actually sit down in your desk. So start to feel a little bit more confident and feeling the part, and all the good stuff that you've already mentioned in terms of how you want to feel. So once you've done that, just by changing your attitude and how you carry yourself, you'll probably find that people will start reacting a little bit differently to you. They might start to sit up and listen to you more because they'll just notice you're carrying yourself differently and that you're feeling a bit more upbeat. You might also find that you feel so much better by changing your mindset, and that you might start to feel and behave differently as a result. Okay, so tip number 2 is get your house in order. So once at your desk, it's really tempting to just get stuck back into your work and carry on as before. But if possible, on that first day back, dedicate some time to looking at how you actually do your work. So by this I mean, have a look at your daily routine. What does it look like? Is there anything that can be improved? What are your processes like? Again, what can you change or improve? Now, this is all about ensuring that you've got the foundations in place to get your job done easily and start minimising any stress, so that you can really start to focus on achieving more. Because when you start achieving more, you'll feel a bit better. So take a look around you. Is your desk organised the way that you want it to be? Do you have a place for everything? Is your computer organised, or do you struggle to find documents once you've saved them? Is your inbox organised the way that you'd like? What does your desk and your work environment say about you? Now take this time to really analyse how you work. So look at your processes, as I've mentioned, and your systems and just your effectiveness. What are you really good at and where could you improve? Is there anything that springs to mind even now as you're sat listening? If so, please put it in your chat box. So also have a look at what is your diary like? Do you find yourself rushing from meeting to meeting? Have a look at your to-do list. Is it quite realistic? Yeah, we've got time management there. You've got, your desk represents your head, messy. I can actually relate to that because my desk is quite messy as well, but I work best with a messy desk, so I encourage myself to keep it that way. You get distracted by new emails that come in. Yeah, so have a good look at your processes because all of that might be adding to how you're feeling. You hide your mess in the drawers. Yeah, again, I can relate. But again, have a good look on that very first day that you come back in. Start to look at your processes. So just have a look. We operate a clear desk policy and do not have fixed desks, which helps. Oh, that's a good one. So that does help you. Brilliant. So tip number 3 is start to look for opportunities and add value. And I think somebody mentioned that earlier on in the chat, actually. So whether we notice them or not, opportunities are everywhere. They're just all around us all the time. It might just be that you might not have spotted them before. So the best way to get an opportunity is to not wait for it to come to you. Very often, this just won't happen. So take the bull by the horns and find them yourself. Now, take a look at what's going on in your department and your team. What's the next big thing? Is there a new project happening that you can get involved in and offer your services? Is there a recurring problem that really could do with someone to fix it? Is there a customer query that no one has really taken hold of yet? It could be anything. You know your jobs. So from now on, keep your eyes and ears to the ground and start looking for these opportunities. Now, at this point, you would be forgiven if you said to me, but that's more work. I already do so much, and what will I get in return, or how am I going to fit this in? Yes, it is more work, because things obviously do involve something to be done. But rather than thinking of the work, think of the end results. Think of how you're going to feel. Think that you're actually going to get more experience, that you're adding value, and potentially the chance to do something you might not have done before. And it might result in you feeling the way that you want to. So start looking for those additional bits that you can really take hold of and run with. Because by seizing these opportunities as they come along, you'll also start to really feel as though you're adding value, as I've mentioned, that you've got a purpose for being there in the first place, and you'll be surprised just how motivating and energizing this is. Just looking at the chat box, love the tips that you're putting in there, so please do, We've got you volunteer for new qualification training, and I see it as another feather in the cap. Absolutely. Brilliant. Definitely do things like that. Because everybody wants to feel needed, don't they? We all want to feel as though we're really adding value, whether that's to your team, to your department, to your business, and all of these great things that you can do will do just that. So once you start opening your eyes up to new opportunities, you will start to see them everywhere, and you're really going to start to reap the rewards. Okay. So tip number 4 is be a great team player. Now, this is exactly what it says on the tin, really, because even though you're leading a team, you are still probably in a separate team of managers. And by being a great team player, you're going to be getting to know your peers and other managers. You're going to be getting involved, and people will see you as a valued member. And also your manager will probably no doubt notice the effort that you're making and the important part that you play. And this is even if you don't feel like it. Really aim to help other members of your team out and be that go-to person. Okay. Tip number 5 is be resilient. Now, throughout all of this journey and going forward, there are going to be times when you just do feel fed up, and that you might have days that are horrendous where it seems as though the whole universe is plotting against you. We all have bad days, and these days when curling up in a ball might just seem like the best option. But it's at times like these that you just need to keep brushing yourself off and keep going. Being resilient is the successful person's secret weapon. It's the reason they succeed where other people fail. that relentless ability to keep going regardless of what's thrown at them. And this is what you need to capture. So learn how to keep going regardless of how rubbish your day's been. Accept that sometimes you will take 2 steps forward and 1 back, but know that through it all you're going to be learning and growing. And when you have days like this, just to keep your why close to hand and have a look at how you actually want to feel rather than how you're feeling at the moment, because all of that will give you a really good boost and a positive pick-me-up. And you can also look to your network as well and to your peers for some support, because everybody feels like that at times. So these are my tips on finding your management mojo. I would love to get your questions now if I've not answered them as we've been going along. And I'd also love to know what your gem is and what you're going to be focusing on. And whilst you're doing that, I did say that right at the very beginning that I was going to tell you how you could work with me if you wanted to. And also get a free book. I am going to be launching a beta version of the 6-week program that I've designed to follow the Boss Hat book, and that is going to be launching on the 7th of November. And it's, like I say, it's 6 weeks, and it's all online, like on webinars like this one. They're completely live, so they're not recorded, and they'll be about 60 minutes long each time with loads more interaction and loads of worksheets. Now, I am keeping the groups really, really small this time because it's a beta version, so I'm doing it for a low price of just £67. So if you've got developments on your to-do list and you haven't actually crossed it off this before Christmas, then please do jump on this and just let me know or email me at info@barbaranixon.co.uk. I think my email's somewhere on there, is it? But if you want to just, thank you very much. If you want to jump on that, email me with "I'd like to book on" in the subject heading and take up one of those places, because I won't be doing it at this price again. So now that I've said that, please do tell me what your gem is. I'd love to know what it is that you're going to be focusing on after today. And if you've got any questions, please let me know as well, and I'll do my best to answer them. Or if you've not got any questions, you just put no in there. And oh, brilliant. So we've got be enthusiastic, fake it till you make it. Yeah, I love it. Remembering that I can't fix everything, so focus on what I can influence and change. Brilliant. Yeah, I like that. Don't be too hard on yourself. Definitely. That's so important. And start every day as a new day. Try again. Yeah. And just follow the tips, because they really do work. And what I haven't mentioned is I've actually done this myself, so I know it worked for me, so I really hope that it works for you. And if you do try any of the tips, please do let me know. You can find me on Twitter or Facebook or LinkedIn, and just let me know how you're getting on. I love to see. Or if you jump on one of my webinars, again, do let me know. Going to try and pretend I own the building. Yeah, do that. Do that, because that really did work for me. And just let me know how that works. Again, people don't know what's going on in your head. Be more aware of your body language, be more enthusiastic, tackle a high priority task before opening Outlook, volunteer for other projects, tidy your office. Good luck, Marianne. I'm actually writing the list of webinars that I'm going to be doing for next year. Would a time management webinar be useful? Because I know a few of you mentioned time management. I've done a couple. Yes, right, okay. That'd be brilliant. Maybe we can book that in quite quickly then. I've done one before, but it's been quite a while. And if there's any others, then any other topics that you're struggling with, please do let me know, and I'll put that into the calendar for next year. But yeah, I'll speak to Karen and we'll get that booked on this side of Christmas, if that's all right with everybody. And you can all let me know how you're getting on. But thank you so much. Please do join me on either Twitter or LinkedIn or Facebook. And if you would like to work with me in a small group, just email me and I will talk to you soon. Thank you so much for today. See you later. Bye.